Hello everyone, hope you all are doing fine. This is Gautam from Shailaja as it's another video on Mains in Minutes where we discuss on the recent current affairs issues. This video will be talking about the new Environment Audit Rules which was notified by Union Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change in the last week of your August 2025. Right. So before we understand the key features of the rules, let us try and understand the brief background behind it. Then we'll talk about the key features, what are the advantages of the new rules, and some of the limitations of it. Right. So let's jumpstart into it. So the current status of environmental legislations, whatever we are having in our country, includes your Environmental Protection Act of 1986. In your Indira Gandhi time period, there was Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. Then you have, during Rajiv Gandhi time period, Environmental Protection Act of 1986, Forest Conservation Act of 1980, Wildlife Protection Act of 1972, that's what I have told. And you have Green Credit Rules in 2023. Okay, so there are other, you can say, rules and you can say regulations at even at the state level with regard to your mining and with regard to your environmental clearances. Why do we have all these legislations or you can say rules? Primarily, we want to take our developmental strategy towards a more greener pathway. Or in other words, we want to have a more sustainable developmental process. That's the first thing. Second thing, India at its international level has made certain commitments with regard to the green objectives that it is going to achieve. I think people who are aware about the Paris Climate Accord and the Glasgow Accord clearly know that what India is trying to achieve. One of the major objectives is to achieve net zero by 2070. So in order to achieve those targets, you need to have certain regulations and institutions in place so that the entire economy is emitting less of carbon dioxide and moving towards more of, you can say, greener pathway. Now the institutions that we have in order to implement this primarily is at two levels. First thing, you have Central Pollution Control Board at the national level, and it is having its regional offices across the country. Currently, we are having 10 regional offices across the country. For example, for the states of Karnataka, Kerala, Goa, and your Lakshadweep Islands, there is one regional office of Union Environment Ministry at your Bangalore. Likewise, for Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, we have at Chandigarh. Likewise, you have 10 regional offices of Union Environment Ministry so as to oversee this environmental regulations aspect of it. At the state level, we have state pollution control boards who is going to primarily involved in day-to-day activities or monitoring or inspections and auditing of that sort with regard to clearances and that sort. Now, what is happening with this institutional framework, especially given in the present day, there is greater consciousness on adopting greener practices, greater consciousness on adopting greener technologies, okay, and regulations, even at the trade level, at international level, there is greater emphasis on adopting, you can say, products or services which are having less of carbon footprint. So in that context, your environmental regulations and in your capability of your environmental institutions, regulatory institutions becomes very important. Now, if you look at the present, you can say scenario of what are the challenges that these regulatory institutions are facing, primarily they are facing shortage of your manpower. They are facing shortage of your resources and infrastructure and capabilities. Now, there is increasing, you can say, evolution of, you can say, green technologies that are adopting, and companies are declaring themselves that we are more carbon friendly, our carbon footprint is less. Now, are they really doing it or not? Whatever are they claiming it to be? For example, you can see green building or zero waste energy or net zero buildings. These kinds of advertisements you can see, especially in metro cities. Now, are they really doing it or not? We need to have, I can say, a regulatory body to check if whatever they are claiming it to be are correct or not. Second thing, they also need, you can say, enhanced manpower to see if the implementation of all these legislations that we talked about are done in an effective manner or not. So, but what we are having is shortage of manpower, shortage of resources, shortage of capabilities and capacities, and shortage of infrastructure. Now, how do you solve this problem? Either two things. First thing is you try and you can say increase your governmental staff strength, try to provide them training, try to increase the funding and other sorts. So everything is going to be, you can say, government owned and government operated. And it's going to take a lot of time given the bureaucracy, given the approvals that is required, given the training efficiencies. It is going to take a lot of time. The second manner is to allow your private sectors to do all these things and the government is going to primarily oversee it or provide some sort of a regulatory framework for it. So what they are doing is that they are trying to create a pool of, you can say, private environmental auditors. Okay, just like your chartered accountants who are qualified enough to audit if the company statements are legally compliant or not. Similar manner, there are going to be a new set of, you can say, environmental auditors who are going to audit if the companies are following environmental regulations, if the companies are claiming whatever they are claiming it to be. Okay, so they are, you can say, how they are going to do it with regard to certain examination or your prior learning experience and on those things, right? So two ways where a person can be certified and recognized by your government, union central government, that this person is certified to be an environmental auditor, and they are going to undertake the activities. Okay, so what the government will be primarily doing is outsourcing the, you can say, the manpower part, the resources part, and the capacity part for your private players, and in turn adopting a more, you can say, regulatory aspect of it and trying to oversee if they are doing it in the right manner or not. So that's the core idea of this new Environmental Audit Rules of 2025. Now let us understand in a bit more detail what it is creating. First thing is it is establishing a designated environmental agency. The idea is that this is going to oversee the implementation of the laws, and this is going to ensure that the people who are certified as environmental auditors are having the necessary skills or not. So they are going to be, you can say, like Institute of Chartered Accountants, they are the ones who are going to certify whether a person is chartered accountant or not. Similarly, you are going to have an establishment of a designated agency who are going to oversee, monitor, and certify if a person is qualified to be an environmental auditor or not. Now, how they are going to be, you can say, certified or recognized can be two ways. Can be certified via recognition of prior learning, if they are having an experience of 10 to 15 years in your private sector, or if they are having 10 to 15 years of experience in your state pollution control boards. If a person wants to take retirement and they are going to show that he is having experience, so he or she can be qualified as an environmental auditor. Likewise, if a new entrant, they can pass a national certification examination and they will be certified as a qualified environmental auditors. And only these auditors will be enabled to audit the green compliance of companies or firms or institutions or other things, right? I hope you're getting an idea of what they're trying to achieve. Okay. And the assignment of which person is going to audit which company, which firm, it's all going to be randomized, so as to provide more transparency and fair play. So it could not be like, for example, if Adani is claiming to be a 4-star, you can say, 4-star company in terms of your green ratings. Now, what are the parameters that are required? Is it really compliant or not? There needs to be a set of auditors who are going to check if whatever they are saying is actually correct or not. So that sort of work will be done by your environmental auditors. And who is going to do which sort of an auditing will all be randomized, right? Another key feature of the new environmental audit rules is the expanded scope of audits. First and foremost thing is they are going to sample and analyze your emissions and effluents. So suppose there is a industrial plant located on the banks of your Yamuna river, and there are certain rules and regulations that have been put in place. Earlier, your state pollution control boards used to go and inspect and certify and give your they used to give your clearance certificates. Now it will be outsourced to a private environmental auditor who is going to undertake these activities, right? So, and to prevent your conflict of interest or to prevent your corruption, it is all going to be your randomized, you can say, assignment of your auditing system. Verifying whether the projects are compliant with environmental laws, clearances as conditions. Assessing conformity with various waste management rules. That is also one of the key scope of audits under this particular rules. And verifying self-compliance reports supported by industries. For some of the, you can say, small or medium-term industries, the government, in order to improve ease of doing business, they said that you can go for self-compliance, you can say, certificate. Okay, for example, I as an institute, I can claim myself, okay, I am a green compliant firm. To verify whether whatever I am claiming it to be is correct or not, the auditors are, you can say, qualified or empowered to do all these things, right? So this is an expanded scope of audits. Another big aspect is that they are integrating with other green initiatives like your Green Credit Program and Ecomark certification. Ecomark certification means that product which is more eco-friendly. Okay, so it is going to be certified, and so it is all aligned with your other initiatives as well. Now, what is this Green Credit Program? For example, I as an institute or I as an industry, for example, I am a textile industry. Over a period of next 1 year, I am going to adopt better technologies where effluent is going to be reduced to a great extent. So I'll be saving off maybe 100 units of carbon dioxide emission because of adoption of these green technologies. Now, if someone certifies to me that I am saving 100 units of carbon dioxide emission because I have adopted better technologies, better services, better processes, now this certificate can be traded to other industries in a market. Okay, because the government is now coming up with regulations whereby they say that you cannot emit more than X units of carbon dioxide. So if for those units, for example, if there is a bigger company, if the target for them is to, you can say, reduce 300 units of carbon dioxide. Now, through their own internal processes, they would have reduced it by 200 units. There is another gap of 100 units. Now, what they are going to do so as to be aligned or compliant with the existing rules and regulations, they are going to buy these 100 units from me. And they are going to say, okay, I am, you can say, reducing 300 units of carbon dioxide. So the certificate, this is called as your carbon trading mechanism, whereby one person is going to save carbon dioxide emissions. They are going to earn a certificate from it. And that certificate can be traded in the market in order to fulfill various, you can say, rules and regulations and norms. Okay. So all these environmental auditors and those things are enabling this to function in a more smoother manner and to function in a more, you can say, a trustworthy manner, right? So if you look at the overall key stakeholders, right now we are having certified and registered environmental auditors. Then we have environmental audit designated agency. Then we have Central Pollution Control Board and State Pollution Control Board or regional offices of Union and Environment Ministry. Then you have a steering committee which is led by an additional secretary to oversee the functioning of all these things. And finally, you have at the policy making level, your Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. So these are the key stakeholders when it comes to your environmental regulations right now with this new rules. Now, the advantages of these new rules, first and foremost thing, your regulatory capacity has increased because there is going to be increased pool of your private environmental auditors, right? So whenever there is an increased capacity, there is going to be strengthening of your environmental compliance or effective implementation of environmental laws and regulations is going to happen. Now, because of these two things, whatever is the environmental regulations that is happening at the international level, we'll be able to quickly align with the international or emerging environmental standards, right? So, given that there is going to be effective implementation and better compliance of environmental regulations, it is also going to be ensuring that there is accountability and there is ease of doing business. Okay, now everything is going to happen in a much more smoother manner because of enhanced manpower, because of enhanced transparency and accountability, right? And all these things, everything is going to be digitized. So, for example, there are 200 units in a particular area. 100 units are compliant, 100 units are not. In that, how many are falling below, you can say, the threshold level. All these data points will enable government to take policy measures which are nuanced, which are tailored to the specific industry needs in a more effective manner, right? And it will also enable government to take proactive risk management because auditing is going to help detect your non-compliance at a much earlier stage, right? So that's the advantage of having more manpower, bringing in transparency and empowering them. At the same time, overseeing whether they are working in the right manner or not. Okay. And finally, since it is, you can say, integrated with your carbon crediting framework or carbon trading framework, it is going to be a boost for your green finance. Okay. So because whoever wants to invest now, there will be some sort of a confidence for your green investors because they say, okay, now whatever they are saying it to be is correct because it is now audited by a particular recognized, certified and recognized environmental auditors. Okay. Environmental auditors not being only individual, it can be even a firm, right? So that's the overall idea, or these are the advantages of, you can say, the new environmental rules of 2025. All these points are picked up straight away from your PIB. So kindly note this, it's not something we have come up. It's authentic or legitimate information that is given by the government in its PIB website itself. But what are the concerns? Concern is that now that more or less it's going to be outsourced to the private sector, doesn't mean we have to disempower your central pollution control boards or state pollution control boards. We need to continue to empower them through training and capability building, right? Second thing is, most of your environmental, you can say, violations are going to occur at grassroots level, whether it is cyan mining, whether it is non-compliance with your environmental standards. So it is better to also equip and empower your gram sabhas and urban local bodies if we want to achieve environmental compliance in a more sustainable in the longer run, right? Third thing, obviously, training has to be provided so that emerging, you can say, environmental regulations are being effectively transmitted to your environmental auditors, and adequate finance has to be provided for your central pollution control boards, so that whatever is the resource constraint they are facing, they are able to overcome it. Right? A short question, a 10-marker question. Examine how India's environmental compliance framework is evolving to address modern climate challenges while maintaining regulatory effectiveness. So whatever we have just now discussed, you need to mention what is the new, you can say, environmental compliance framework. You should give me the, you can say, the merits of it and the challenges of it. A good introduction, maybe a quote. Okay, you can send that, you can write this answer, attempt this answer, and send it to me via WhatsApp on this number, or you can email it to me on this email ID. So thank you very much.